Over the past 15 years, indoor shopping malls in America have been on the decline. What was once a staple for kids born in the 70s, 80s, and 90s has quietly and slowly been forgotten to decay in our suburbs. Let's start at the beginning. One of the earliest iterations of an indoor shopping mall can be found in Paramus, New Jersey, at the Bergen Mall, which opened in 1957. Originally an open-air format, the structure was enclosed in 1973. Early enclosed malls were Harrendale's Mall in Glen Burnie, Maryland, Big Town Mall in Mesquite, Texas, and Christown Mall in Phoenix, Arizona. These properties opened in 1958, 59, and 61, respectively. The official first enclosed shopping mall is hard to nail down. You have to look at factors like size and when it was actually enclosed, and various sources cite different places. The man credited with creating the modern, fully enclosed shopping center we know today as a mall is Austrian architect Victor Gruen. Gruen designed the Southdale Center in Edina, Minnesota, which opened in 1956 and was enclosed in 1973. The vision was much grander than just the mall itself. Gruen's ideas were similar to those of Walt Disney's original idea for the city of Epcot. To quote Steve Johnson, writing for TED.com, "The mall courtyard and its pedestrian convenience were for Gruen a way to smuggle European metropolitan values into a barbaric American suburban wasteland." In 1950, the U.S. population was 151 million. In 1960, it was 179 million, an 18.5% increase. By 1970, the population was 203 million people, an increase of 13.3%. The addition of those 52 million people over 20 years saw suburbs in every major city explode. And with all of these neighborhoods away from the cities, idyllic families needed somewhere safe to shop. Moms wanted a place with plenty of parking and air conditioning. Teens needed a place to meet up and spend a Saturday afternoon. Grandma wanted a one-stop location to purchase Christmas gifts. Enter the American shopping mall. Throughout the decade of the 1960s, malls exploded in numbers. Fueled by the post-World War II baby and financial boom the country was experiencing, there were over 7,600 malls by the end of the decade. Sadly, Gruen came to resent his idea, as malls became, quote, land-wasting seas of parking, unquote, and lent to the spread of suburban sprawl. In a 1978 speech, he was quoted as saying, "I refuse to pay alimony for those bastard developments. They destroyed our cities." According to the Association for Consumer Research, in 1960, there were 4,500 malls, accounting for 14% of all retail sales. By 1975, there were 16,400 malls, accounting for 33% of retail sales. And by 1987, there were 30,000 malls across the country, accounting for over 50% of all retail sales. This also accounted for 8% of the U.S. labor force and 13% of the country's GDP. The labor force size in 1987 was 119 million people, so 8% of that is 9.5 million people. That's slightly larger than the current population of the state of New Jersey. So, what happened? I'm going to give the obvious and most cited reason first. Amazon and online shopping. Amazon went public in 1997 when 36% of households had at least one computer. It launched the Fulfillment by Amazon program in 2006, which allowed individuals and small companies to sell products through Amazon's warehouses and fulfillment infrastructure. By 2006, 67% of households had at least one computer, which made shopping from the comfort of your home easy and convenient. We all know you can buy absolutely anything you can imagine off of Amazon without even leaving your house. It's the dream of busy or lazy people worldwide. Something I'll argue against online shopping is that pictures don't always do the color or size of the item justice, and clothing and shoe sizes can be difficult unless you already know the brand. I also want to mention foreign sites like Shein and Temu. These Amazon-like sites offer many various products at prices that you cannot beat on any American site or store. Reason number 2 for the decline of the mall is the decline of anchor stores and rise of big box stores like Walmart and Target. Of course, I need to talk about the behemoth, Sears. Started in the 19th century, this company used to be the pride of the American workforce, employing over 350,000 by the 70s. It was one of the first retailers to cater both to men and women by selling appliances and cars. Sears paid $100 million to construct their namesake tower in Chicago, the tallest building in the world when it opened in 1973. In the early 1980s, Sears changed their employees' payment model from commission to an hourly wage. Store managers also could no longer choose their store's inventory, as the company opted for a more uniform look. In 1990, Walmart took the spot as the country's #1 retailer with $32.6 billion in sales, compared to Sears' $31.9 billion. Sears' stock price hit an all-time high in 2007 at $195.18 per share. Revenue fell from $43 billion in 2010 to $17 billion just 7 years later. That's a $26 billion or 60% drop. When Sears filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in October 2018, it had fewer than 700 stores still open. In the meantime, big box stores like Walmart and Target were only growing. In 1989, Target had 400 stores nationwide. By 2001, they hit 1,000 stores. And in 2006, they had 1,488 stores open across the country. In 1980, Walmart had 276 stores, whereas just 12 years later, in 1992, the company had 1,928 stores and clubs, and their expansion only continued. Stores like Walmart and Target offer an alternative to the traditional mall experience by including many offerings found in malls, like clothing, shoes, and handbags, along with everyday items like cookware, shampoo, bathroom rugs, at prices that mall stores can't beat. Once both stores started offering full grocery, including beer and wine, and a pharmacy, they truly became one-stop places. Reason number 3 for the decline of the indoor shopping mall is the 2008 recession and the corresponding change in mind frame of traditional mall shopping. We all know the American economy took a dump in late 2008, and it took about 4 years for the stock market to bounce back to pre-drop levels. Many people lost their homes due to bad mortgage lending, and retirement funds took a big hit. Seeing their wealth be washed away in a matter of weeks took a psychological toll on many. People also lost their jobs, and there was major uncertainty in the job market itself. And let's not forget how much wages have stagnated since this period of time. This chart from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta shows wage growth between March 1997 and August 2008, averaging 4% annually. But from September 2008 to September 2015, the average wage growth was 2.5% annually. Reason number 4 for the decline is a secondary reason, and that's market saturation. Once all 3 previously listed reasons set in and worked simultaneously, it leads to less foot traffic at malls. This leads to too many malls. It's hard to find the exact number of indoor shopping malls in the US because the way people classify a mall versus a shopping center can get murky, but the most common figures I've seen are approximately 700 to 1100 as of 2021. But what's the right number of malls? Let's say cities with 5 million plus people get 3 malls. Only New York City qualifies for this metric. Cities with 1 million plus people get 2 malls. That's LA, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philly, San Antonio, San Diego, Dallas, and likely Austin. So that's 21 malls so far. Then let's say cities with 200,000 to 1 million people get 1 mall. That's an additional 112 malls. If cities less than 200,000 people don't get a mall, that brings the total to 133 malls for the entire country. If you think about it, cities with a population of 200,000 and less are either small towns and the area wouldn't support a whole mall, or suburbs of larger cities who would already have a mall. So in theory, there's potentially 550 to about 1,000 unnecessary malls scattered across the country. Even if we give 1 mall to each city with a population down to 100,000 people, the total mall count is still only at 310, less than half of the total we have today. For reason number 5, my final reason, I'm citing smartphones and social media apps and their major impact on the shift in how kids and teens socialize. Between the 1970s and early 2000s, kids used to frequent the mall as a place to meet up and hang out. They'd eat lunch in the food court, gossip with friends, and maybe pop into a few stores to spend earnings from their summer job. My middle school was right down the road from a mall, and I used to go there with friends after school and have one of our parents pick us up. Now, teen socialization has mostly gone digital thanks to apps like Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, and so on. Malls are no longer seen as cool, so people preoccupied with what others think wouldn't be caught dead in a place that their parents went to as kids. A few honorable mentions. Of course, COVID lockdowns, being inaccessible and increased fear of germs, plus the concept of social distancing, really hindered malls' potential. Also, shifting population. As people move away from certain areas over the years, businesses in that area start to suffer from the lack of support. To me, the idea that the mall is dead is just silly. No, malls aren't dead. In fact, some have rebounded after the lockdowns and are doing quite well. Indoor shopping malls are going through a renaissance, albeit a painful one. Thousands of stores and hundreds of malls need to close and let the better located and better maintained ones shine. Of course, in doing so, a lot of companies stand to lose a lot of money. However, I think this would be temporary until they either relocate their stores or sell and cut the loss of the aging property. All of the footage in this video are clips from my various mall tours. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel to see more tours. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with my reasons? What did I leave out? What's your hometown mall and how often do you visit? More tours are on their way in the later half of 2023, and until then, I want to thank you so much for watching.